My mom made like fried crispies for me. Life is great. Happy Lunar New Year, everyone. Hello! It's been a while since I've last made an advice video, but here I am making another advice video, unsolicited mind you, and I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while now. So I've mentioned in my previous video that I'm currently in a marketing internship. And on my second day here, I was tasked to just assist my boss in her photo shoot session for like their Valentine's Day collection of products. Something I was supposed to do in that photo shoot is I was supposed to help take like flower b-rolls, so just like have loose assortment of flowers and like position them against like really aesthetic backgrounds, like the stuff that I'm showing you on screen now. It's meant to be like b-roll, as I said, to sort of pad out like flower bouquets and stuff so that we can get more like visual interest without it being too distracting. I think that's the idea here. And something that she really wanted in one of these like pictures is the background to be romantic. Now, what did she mean by romantic? She means like she wanted like maybe something very flowy, something very feminine. So think like pretty lady with flowing hair. But the thing is, like, the books that she brought to the office at the time didn't really feature images like that. So I was kind of anxious, being the little bug that I am. I was worried about like not finding a good background, so I literally like spent 10 minutes agonizing over it, and she realized that I was taking quite a bit of time with it, so she was like, what's up with that? And I was like, oh, I don't really know what to do. I just kept flipping through things. I think she could tell I was stressed, so she said to me like, don't overthink it, right? Just choose a damn background and roll with it. Don't overthink it. Just fucking do it. She didn't curse, but like, that's what I interpreted in my head. But anyway, that aside, I really like those three words together. Don't overthink it. I really like those three words. It's quick, it's simple, and it came to me at the right time. It showed me that one, she's a nice lady, at least right now anyway. She's a nice lady, but it also just acted as an antidote at the time because I was just so worried about not doing a good job, and yeah, those three words sort of just pushed me out of my funk and just, you know, do my job, try my damn best, and we'll just see how it goes from there. And I really like that. This sort of mantra carried on into like other aspects of my job. So like days after the photo shoot, whenever I have to like sit down and like write copy and prepare social media posts, I would always tell myself like, don't overthink it whenever I get worried about whether or not what I'm doing is the right thing to do or whether or not it's good enough, essentially. I think this mantra like really forced me to just sit down and like make a decision quickly, such that I have things to work with rather than just like consistently staring at a blank canvas and have nothing to show for it. Like I have no idea what to use for pictures. And I've just spent the last like 20 minutes doom scrolling my Telegram chat. Don't overthink it and just use a picture that's the nicest out of the lot. Just do that for now and we'll think about it later. Or when it comes to writing captions, because this flower shop has a very specific brand, like do I think like, is this cringe? Is this weird? But it is also like, dude, just write it. It's fine. Like if it's that bad, my boss will change it later. And also if you let it marinate for some time, a better version will come out eventually. So it's chill. It's chill. Okay. So yeah, I love this train of thought because it forces me to act quickly and to be like decisive about what I'm doing. It forces me to just like take all my overthinking, all my anxieties, and just put it aside to focus on what's really important to me right here, right now, and that is the creative product that I'm going to share to the world. And this sort of like this advice sort of, I feel, applies to my own creative side as well. I think, for example, like most relevantly, before I started this internship, I was working on one of my old man illustrations that I mentioned like multiple videos ago. I promise I'm working on it, but one of my old man illustrations for 𝖤.�. Now the thing is with 𝖤.�'s illustration, like he took forever to get right. at the start, like before I came to this conclusion, I actually had like a very specific idea for drawing him. Like I had like a very clear idea at the start. Like I originally wanted to draw him like lying down on his back in a kimono, I suppose, and he's like barely waking up from a nap. In this idea, right, I wanted to focus on depicting a sense of vulnerability and like I guess sex appeal, and I wanted to show that like we are intruding on a private and intimate moment with him. I swear this is attractive, but yeah, that was my idea. In this illustration, I also wanted to depict like really long flowy hair because his Canon design featured really long and flowy hair, and I wanted to take advantage of that to create a sense of like concealment, seductions, you know. It's really pretty in my head, and I also wanted him to be surrounded with like flowers and like soft pillows and blankets. Very lovely, very romantic idea. And I was just taking random reference pictures of myself to help me execute that, and I landed on like a reference picture and some other things that I really like committed with, and I really liked. So I was so committed to this like reference image that I had this composition that I spent 2 whole days from morning to evening just on this one drawing, this one canvas. And rather than feeling pride, I just felt so exhausted. Like I felt I was terrible at drawing. I wanted to just give up. Like, bro, this is not worth it. And I'm gonna show you like my failed attempt on screen, not just so you can see like what I was seeing. I think I wasn't very proud of the like looking back at it at hindsight, it was clear that like I didn't really know how the anatomy should look like. I also didn't really know like what angle his face should be in, because my reference picture was more top down, but I wanted to draw him from the side angle. So fundamentally, in terms of like the 3D shapes and forms, I was looking at it from the wrong angle from the beginning. But at the time, I was so like gung-ho about it. I was so like determined to stick to this idea out of like, I guess, pride and also like artistic vision, that I didn't really see things clearly, and I think it showed, and it looked terrible. Like at the time though, I didn't think it looked terrible. I just kept thinking over and over again that like I could save this somehow, that I could do it, that I could like fix things, right? I spent a lot of time with liquify tool and the warp tool and rotation and flipping things horizontally and stuff, just to fix like little bits and bobs, like the hand, the angle of the nose, things like that. But like ultimately it doesn't really solve the bigger issue of not like of the idea just not working, right? And so I was just trapped in this spiral of like needing this to look absolutely perfect. And if I admitted that I was wrong from the start, I would look like a fucking idiot because I've wasted so much time on this, right? So on the 3rd day of working on this, instead of like overthinking, see, I am relating to the video. So instead of like overthinking about how I could have fixed this idea, I've decided instead to just say frankly like, hey, this sucks. This is not going to work out. Let's try again. Let's put this down. Okay, let's put this idea away and let's try something new, right? Because it's not worth like the struggle to keep trying to make this perfect if it's going to cause me to think myself into a spiral, into thinking that I'm a shit artist and that I can't draw. Okay, it's not worth it. Let's not overthink this. Let's try again. Okay, and so I did. I retook my reference pictures and I tried a different idea, and lo and behold, this new idea, because I struggled so much previously, I sort of got my drawing muscles like warmed up again, and I got it done in like 2 hours rather than 2 days. It went by so easily that I thought it was a scam. Like, it can't be that easy, right? It could be though, and that's another weird thing. The creative process is so weird. Like sometimes it could either go perfectly well, where nothing feels too difficult, nothing feels too challenging, or it could turn out hell, and because like you want the idea to be perfect, you keep fighting through it. only to realize that it's a pointless like upward struggle, right, for the sake of some vague mental image conjured up by the imagination. So yeah, just recalling like the 3 words that this mantra that my boss said to me really made me reflect on the process, that the hardships I suppose that I went through for the sake of my 𖤧 piece. Like I was so wrapped up in making sure that every little thing of that initial 𖤧 drawing was perfect until I forget to like step back and realize like, hey, this is not working. Like I feel that I forgot to like step back and look at the bigger picture and really think clearly about what I'm doing, what I don't like about it, and address like fundamental problems which ultimately like hinder everything basically. Like like it prevents me from realizing like the truth of the situation, and you know, save myself a lot of grief and emotional burnout, I suppose. I feel like this sort of reflection and stepping back comes with a sense of self-awareness. Like it's okay to admit that some ideas just aren't going to work out, and you have to be like humble enough to admit that, I guess. If I'm not feeling something, if something feels off, I should just learn to accept that like it's not that I'm not good enough, it's because like right now somehow this idea is just not meant to be realized, and it's not that I can't come back to it in the future, it's just that right now it's not meant to be, and that's totally okay. This overthinking thing, like I feel like this mantra of like don't overthink it sort of forces me to be quick about things. It forces me to realize that I build like a mental war zone in my head where I keep thinking like, oh, it has to be perfect, oh, it has to be a certain way, or oh, like if I don't do this right the first time, if I don't like execute perfectly on this one idea that I have in my head, it's not good enough, it's not worth showing, it's not good essentially, and that I am a shit artist or I'm a shit like marketer. But ultimately, like it's not that. Like dude, chill, like for real, like don't overthink it, you know. The more you overthink, the more like you trap yourself in mental hell that prevents you from actually creating anything, or in my internship from actually doing my damn job. I guess if you overthink it, if you hyperfixate on every little thing, you'll never get anything done. And that means something, because that means like you'll never get the chance to like put yourself out there and show off to the world like what you can do creatively. And I think that's something I have to learn as well. Like done is better than perfect, and I have to just like put my ideas down, ignore the fact that it's terrible, and move on if it truly is terrible. And there's no point in like fixating over this one idealized image. I hope this video makes some sort of sense, because like it's been a while since I've last written an advice video. But anyway, don't overthink it. This video is made, it's out in the world now. I hope you found some sort of value from it. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. I hope you got some sort of like value out of this. The next video, or at least the video after the next one, I'm going to actually start coloring like the old man drawings that I've teased like constantly. We're going to start with 𖤧, because like the line for him is more or less done, and I figured out the color scheme, and I really want to talk about like how many brainworms his design has given me in canon. So that will be more exciting than this sort of like sober, somewhat reflective, and somewhat half-assed video script. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. Cheers and kisses. Bye bye.